this is a continuation of looking at vertex form. The question says, well, the title is writing equations in vertex form. So that's what we have to do, write the equation for this parabola. And what you should already know is that it's going to take the form y equals a x minus p squared plus q. And you should know what that a, p, and q are all about. Or at least something about them. Specifically, the one that is most important right now is the p and q. Do you know what P and Q represent? The vertex, the coordinates of the vertex. So here we have this point 2, 1, that's the vertex. That's P and Q. What about the A? How wide it is, right. So we know that P is 2, we know that Q is 1, we know that A talks about how wide it is and which direction it opens. So I don't think we know the A value right away, but can you tell me maybe a guess of what you think the A value might be? Positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, we've got that. Why is it positive?
2.
Because it's opening up. Your guess is positive 2. Why do you think 2?
I don't know.
Don't know?
Oh, because it's 0.5. That makes it wide.
Yeah, so somebody said 0.5. That would make a wide parabola. So it's probably not 0.5. So 2 is probably a better guess because it's narrow.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is, but we're going to find out. So here's what we have with the graph. We have the point PQ. We have this other point, 0 and 13. We're going to use that. Where do you think that could fit into this equation?
A.
It's not the A value.
Q. Y and X.
Y and X, right. X, 0, Y, 13. That's going to allow us to solve for A. So this is going to be X and Y. And then we have P and Q. So I'm going to take that equation and fill in everything I know. What will I put in the place of Y? 13. We don't know A, but we have a guess. But we're just going to leave it as an A. What will I put in the place of X? 0 minus 2, because that's the P value, squared, plus 1. So I'm getting all those numbers from here, the P and Q, and here the X and Y. Now what I need to do is solve that for A, because A is the value that we can't find just by looking at the graph. We can make an educated guess about what A might be, but we can't actually solve for A, the exact value, just by looking at the graph. So I'm going to use the equation. I'll leave that as a 13 equals. I'm going to do the subtracting first, right? 0 minus 2 is negative 2 because it's inside the brackets. We'll do that first, and then what do I do next? The exponent, right. Remember the order of operations, BEDMAS, do the brackets, then the exponents. So I'm going to do negative 2 squared, which is 4. And I just switched it around. Instead of A4, I said 4A because we usually put the coefficient in the front. Now this is a linear equation and I need to solve for A. So I'll subtract 1 from both sides. 12 equals 4A. Yeah, and A is 3 because I divide by 4, right? A is equal to 3. So the guess was 2. That was pretty close. The sign was right and it was a big number bigger than 1. So good guess. Now I need to write the equation. When I write the equation of the line, X and Y have to stay as X and Y. So I'm going to write it like this. Y equals, but I'll fill in A as 3. X stays as an X. But P and Q and A all get filled in. So Y equals 3 times X minus 2 squared plus 1.
That's cool.
It is cool. How can you tell whether that's correct or not if you had to check? How can you check? How can you verify?
How is
What did you say, Nathan? To verify? So you could fill those numbers in and see if it works out. That's an algebraic way of verifying, guys. One way to verify algebraically is fill in x, y, p, and q and simplify both sides and see if they equal the same thing. Or somebody, I think, said something about a graph. If you graph that on your calculator, you should see that it's the same as that. So 2 different ways that you could verify. I want you guys to do this one. I'm going to start you out with, you're writing the equation. Y equals a, x minus p squared plus q is the form that you're going to put it in, so that's what you can start with. And just go ahead and give it a try. So now that you've had a chance to try that, let's go through it and make sure I can do it too, just like you guys did. I'm going to call this 3 and negative 2 the p and q values because that's the vertex. And the 0, 4, that's the x and y. Oh my goodness. Let's try that again. Y. So I'm going to just fill all those in. Y is 4. X is 0. P is 3. And Q is negative 2. So I'm just going to put it in as subtract 2. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. Be careful with that. If you just put negative 3 squared into your calculator, like that, it's going to come out as negative 9. But negative 3 squared, if you're going to use your calculator, you actually have to do this. Put it in brackets. There's a negative 2 there. So then I'm going to add 2. So I get 6 equals 9a. And then divide by 9. So a is 6 over 9. Or if you reduce that, 2 over 3. Once you have the a value, then you can write the answer, the equation. Y equals 2 over 3 x minus 3 squared minus 2. And that's it.